Todd here, number 5 in the series of how I shot this. So today we're going to be looking at some shoe shots I did for Nike Lacrosse, a few different schools. Shot it on plexiglass, colored plexiglass, which you can see back here. I've got it set up right now with a shoe shot. I don't have those cleats anymore. I shot those a while ago, but I've got a pair of Doc Marten boots from a recent shoot I just did with them. And so I've got that for the setup, and we'll show the lighting, what I use, that kind of stuff. You can see on screen right now we'll run through a few of these shots right here of the cleats, so you can see that, the different schools, looking at that right now. All right, so we're back at the set, and what I've got going on here, let's grab the camera. We've got 3 lights for this setup. I've got one light on the background, is this head with a 30-degree grid on it, and it's making a spotlight on the background right there. And then I've got another light, which is right here, which has a snoot on it, which is from Speedotron, which doesn't really fit on my Pro Photo heads, but I make it fit. And then I've got some black foil, black cinema foil, this stuff right here, to make that snoot even get a little bit smaller. So this black cinema foil you can find at any cinema place where you get your supplies. And then this is the snoot right here that I'm using, that's clipped on there, that's actually not right for that head, but it works. I've done it like that for years. So that's that. And then here's a set of grids right here as well, 30, 20, and 10 degree. That has a 30-degree grid spot on it. And then coming over here to this other light that's grid, just a grid right here. And this, I believe, is the 20-degree grid on this head right here as the 20-degree grid. And it's doing the lighting on the side of the shoe here. And this light that's right here with the snoot and the black foil is getting right into here on this shoe right there. And then the background head, which is right, come on, zoom up, right there, it's making a circle on the background right here, which in turn reflects the circle around the shoes. So this background head shining on that background is then reflecting onto the foreground here around the shoes, which we'll be able to see here in a second. But anyway, we're going to turn the lights off now, and we can take a look at what this light looks like. So I got to go run and turn the lights off. Okay, we got the lights off. Kill this light as well. So now we've got the lights off, and you can see the set here, how the background head is lighting, making that circle right there, which in turn reflects, which you can't see it right now because of all the other lights that are on. But it makes the circle there, which we'll see on the test shot, which we'll do right now. And as you can see, the circle comes around the shoe like that. And then there were edge lighting there, and then lighting up the sole of the shoe right there. So we're getting this edge light and the sole of the shoe and the reflection of the background light into the foreground, creating the circle around the shoes. And you can't really light from above because that light would create a shadow onto the surface, which would then interfere with the reflection. And you can also see it starts to wash out the reflection of the shoe in the surface. And again, that's the main reason we're using the plexiglass, to get these cool reflections and this kind of thing. Now let's talk about the negatives of using this plexiglass. Number 1 is dust. So Swiffers, dust off, you've got to have this stuff handy. Even on, I know on the shots I did, there's retouching you got to do, get rid of the dust afterwards. You just can't get rid of it enough. You dust it and it comes back before you shoot. It's like static electricity on these things. They just collect dust. And number 2 is they scratch super easy. And you've got to be very careful when you put it away that it doesn't lean up against something and scratch. I stack mine vertically and they scratch. Luckily, they do have paper that's kind of stuck to them that you peel off. Normally I'll use the other side after. If I've got something else coming, I'll peel off the back side because there's usually two pieces of their sticky surface tape that's on there, and on the back of mine I always keep one side of that paper still stuck to it, so if it gets scratched up I know I have the other side to work with, which is great. But yeah, they scratch super easy and the dust is a pain in the butt. And when you're lighting these things, depending on how bright you want your circles to be or whatever, sometimes the color doesn't really show up the way you want it to. Like you see this color here, and then you light it and it gets too bright or too dark, and that's all a choice of how you light it and how bright you want to make it. But it does make for a cool surface. And I shot a bunch of different shoes, different styles of shoes, and changing angles and perspectives and all that kind of stuff. And you just have to move your edge lights around or the background light up or down kind of where you need it to be to get that circle the way you want it, or the reflection to look the way you want it as well. And camera angle works well also to change that kind of look and feel, so you get that incident angle that you're looking for to get the reflection the way you want it and all that kind of stuff. And just simple shooting with a 70 to 200 on the R5, strobes, power packs, pro photo stuff's what I use, but you could use anything really, whatever you can get grids for or something. It doesn't have to be the pro photo stuff, it's very expensive. Yeah, so that's it. Pretty simple. Again, setup, just a starting point if you want to shoot on this thing. And you can do some other cool stuff with the Plexi 2 is you can bend the foreground down and stretch those shadows in the reflection, which turns out pretty cool. I've done that as well before, and it kind of gives it a stretched effect into the reflection, which is really kind of cool. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty simple. Check out the other How I Shot This in the series. If you see something on my website, you can check that out. And if you've got a question on how I shot that or what my thoughts were on it or whatever, please reach out and I will talk about that one in the next one. But as always, thanks for watching. Like I said, check out the other series. And until next time, I'm out.